Hi guys, this is an update on my Peperomia Caperata Freckles, or Variegata Green, or Green Variegata. And this is what it looks like. This is the same plant. So I hope you enjoy my vlog, that you're gonna hit the like, subscribe, and of course the bell so you're notified every single time I do upload a new video. All my social media accounts, including what I'm using and what I'm talking about, will be in the description section, so do check that out. So a little bit of background. I will try to attach the links for the previous vlogs for these plant. For this plant, actually, it used to be more than one separate pots, but now I merged them into one pot. So I will be linking them up above if you are curious to see the progression or like whatever happened before. So I purchased this, and it was very, very small, much smaller than described. But the root system was a little bit heavier. They couldn't fit together really, and I just split them up into two separate 4-inch pots. And this is one, and this is the other one, the very green ones. The very, very variegated ones, these I just merged them. I just finished actually a few minutes ago to merge them up, and I believe I could be wrong, but it's at least, I think it's like 3 different leaves that took and actually rooted and grew its own new plant. So I think there's 4, 5, or 6 total in here that I merged together. This is a 6-inch pot, and I am using a fast draining soil, a very, very fast draining soil, or a cactus soil. I will, again, everything that I'm using prior and currently will be linked down below. So if you're curious about that, check that out in the description section. So, the way I water my peperomias, what I've noticed is that I put my finger in here, or like the top at least is dry, and I wait for probably about half an inch for it to be dry, and also look at the leaves. So if I keep pushing it and pushing it and make it drier and drier, and the leaves start to brown on the tips, that means that they need to be watered. So I will actually note that down on how deep the soil is dry that they want to be watered, so that I can have a time range to see how often they need to be watered. I do live in zone 5 in the Midwest, so we have 4 seasons here, so things can change in regards to your environment. This one sits in front of an east-facing window. The newly propagated one used to be in my propagation station, which never really gets natural light, only does get a minimum of 10 to 12 hours of LED plant light. Again, all my equipment for that will be linked down below. So if you're curious, and what I do use to water will be linked down below. So currently I am actually on the fence to see if I want to cut this up. And like this one, it's letting me know that I let her dry out a little too long. So that means I noted it to myself, and then I watered it. I'm on the fence and actually clipping some of the leaves again, like maybe this one, because it is looking kind of bad, to see if I can propagate and actually make this fuller. But we shall see, or maybe just add it into a secondary pot. I don't really want to have another pot of this, so we shall see if I want to do that. I do also still have a very small one that just slightly rooted, but I didn't really merge it in here because it was really small. I'll get it real quick. So this is the other one I was referring to. It's very lightly rooted. I'm not comfortable in merging her in that because it's too much for her, I think, and she might get swallowed, but you know what? I'm gonna try right now. All right, so I just added her right there, and it's a good thing I didn't really water this yet so that you guys can see what it looks like. My suggestion usually is for peperomias to treat them more like how you treat a succulent. I'm not very good with succulents, so doing peperomias have been somewhat of a challenge, and it's a learning curve for me. And the reason for that is I think peperomias are easier for me to care for because I don't have a southern facing window. Succulents really need a southern facing window. Maybe you can get away with a western facing window, but eastern can be kind of difficult. Peperomias, for my experience and research, they prefer like a north or an east or a very, very high west. So that means that they get very bright indirect light, because if they're going to be in the top part of the window, it's bright indirect light, barely getting direct light, and you usually probably get more of the northern light direct. So that's what I've noticed that they thrive on. Because I have the right lighting for them, I think that's why I do better with peperomias versus everyday succulents. So here she is, and again, I do let her dry out. When they were in the 4-inch pots, I probably, depending on the time of the year, I probably let them dry out to 1/8 of an inch, or maybe less, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, and then I would water, and not really a lot because they're 4-inch pots and they were very, very small. Also, they flower so often. It's very herby kind of smell with the flower, and it's not very impressive in my opinion. I kept it so that you guys can see what it looks like. It has like tiny little dots. A lot of people call it like a rat tail. It's not focusing. There it is. So it's not very flashy. It's not the most beautiful thing. What I've noticed, so if you rub your fingers on it, your fingers are going to smell very herby, very green, and that's really it. You really don't smell anything. And my peperomias always flower for me. It's probably just whatever I give them, which is okay. So here she is, just so you guys can see, and just so I can check later on, you know, like in a year or whatever, how many years from now, and be like, oh, that's when I did that, and that's what I did. So eastern facing window is what I put her, and if it's too bright, I do put her like a foot away from that eastern facing window. But if I can get away with it, it's not super sunny, like in the winter months or fall, I can put her directly on the eastern facing window. And the thing with it is, because it's a very light variegation, maybe she can even go in the very bright summer months, actually a 1/2 foot away from that east facing window, just so she can get that pop of variegation more. Like I said, these came from this plant, and this plant is very, very green. So hopefully, you know, she's in a higher kind of pot. She's going to get more light due to that, and hopefully her variegation will pop like this, because it's very, very beautiful. So here she is, eastern facing window. The soil I use will be linked down below. I water only when she needs to be watered, which is about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch dry. What would the kind of soil that, if you really, really need to know, and it's basic cactus soil, but I do not recommend Miracle Grow. So if you can find, I'll link it down below what I would recommend. And water, I would say for a 6-inch pot, probably like I'll try 1/4 to 1/8. I mean, a 1/8 to 1/4. If I can still get away with it, I'll push it more to maybe 1/3 and then 1/2. And then when it starts to crisp up or brown, or it looks really kind of sad, then I will note that, oh, it can't go over 1/4 of an inch dry. So here she is, and she is just so beautiful. I'm sorry about that dirt over there. It's just when I added the tiny one. All right, here she is, and thank you so much, guys, for all the love and support. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.